Good morning. Uh, our guests from abroad and guests from Taiwan. Uh, I would like to begin with a very brief welcome remarks um, to welcome all of you to join us today. Uh, Many years ago, in the medical education, we put very little emphasis on ethics in the day-to-day conduct of clinical service and day-to-day conduct in research. And today, I think the picture is totally different. I think for every person involved in healthcare, whether in clinical service or in research, I think the first thing we have to think about is, are we doing the right things? And that obviously is beyond just the skills and knowledge of healthcare or medicine. Years ago, Dr. Abid Singh asked me to serve for the university systems as their first professor of the program sponsored by the private industry to lead the discussion of ethics in Taiwan for a period of 3 years. And that was really a challenge to me because I had not really put many things together. But with a lot of help from everyone, I was able to organize a series of workshops for the faculty, and in the hope that they will then lead the institutions in Taiwan to begin to emphasize, to think more about ethics in clinical medicine and in conduct in research in general. And that was an eye-opener for me because prior to that, I only know by examples, by watching my mentors work over the years. And now I was put in a position to be a mentor, and that was difficult, but an excellent challenge for me. And now we are involved in a somewhat different program. We have won the support of National Institutes of Health's Fogarty International Center to conduct ethical sessions with scholars from Asia. And on the position of faculty of this program, I welcome all of you to join us today. I only have 2 slides to share with you to let you know what we're supposed to be doing. And I hope that this would open the first keynote speech by Dr. Zheng immediately. And so let me share with you the first slide. This Fogarty program actually is developed for Asian researchers and members of Research Ethics Committee. And we hope that that this program would enhance the understanding and enhance the sensitivity to the social, economic, and political milieu that frames the context in which research is being conducted. The program also wants to involve member scholars to participate in the design and conduct of trials by setting examples. And the program also wishes to ensure relevance to health needs of participating Asian countries. And these include 3 countries, Vietnam, Thailand, and then Taiwan. The next slide. And also, the program is set up to help linking participating scholars to their local institutions in, for example, Hanoi, in Bangkok, near Bangkok. And so that they are involved in the Research Ethics Committee as a member there for day-to-day conduct of research and to widen their influence in their host country. So the purpose is not just to have a session, but to have session that is going to be in place in Vietnam, Thailand, Taiwan. The program also wants to help ensure that the care or treatment at the local level be consistent with international standards. Obviously, even though the world has become smaller, now we are sharing everything in this global village, but there still exists inconsistency in the ethics of research and in clinical conduct. So we hope that this program will then bring Asia to a level commensurate with the rest of the world. We want to reduce the disparities through continuous discussions and something changed. Okay, the last slide. Through this discourse and to exchange innovative ideas, we find in the last year very satisfying experience because our scholars from Vietnam and from Thailand would present their unique and difficult problems for discussion. And through that, we have learned a great deal beyond actually what we have learned so far from other nations. And so we hope that the disparities can be reduced through continuous discussions among Asian nations. And then we lastly want to foster and promote ethical research that will benefit the citizens of various involved countries. And the person that benefited the most from last year's continuous session, we usually conduct every 2 weeks an hour-and-a-half session, and the main speakers are Mildred Cho, Professor Cho, and Professor Wang, and I was actually more of a student of yours than anything else. And I benefited greatly from this experience. I could have read more, but Mildred's assignments have been, for me, because of the composition of time, somewhat excessive. And many of you probably have a different feeling too. But I must tell you that if I wasn't on the road, I would be turning on my Skype and listen to the teaching of Doctors Cho and Wang without missing a beat. So I'm so glad to see the faculty face to face and to see our scholars from Thailand and from Vietnam and from Taiwan. And I hope that today's discussion will be as active as the discussions so far we have conducted in the last year. And I welcome all of you to join us We have friends from Palo Alto, from Hanoi, from Bangkok, from other parts of Taiwan. And I hope that this theme of research ethics will be in our mind at least for the entire day, and I hope that this will then continue to spread throughout Asia. Thank you very much.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Jason Wang. I'm one of the faculty members for this program. I'm also a learner of this program. I've learned a great deal in the last year from our scholars. Today is a privilege to introduce Professor Ovid Tseng. Professor Tseng is a former Minister of Education. It's for Taiwan. And currently, he is the chancellor of the University System of Taiwan. He's a world-renowned psychologist and psycholinguist and a member of Academia Sinica. Today, he's going to talk about social trust, I believe, in biobanking. Welcome, Professor Tseng.
Okay, I'm not too used to wear a suit and also tie, as you know, but I'll try to be my best behavior this morning. Good morning, everyone. It's a privilege to be here because there are in Taiwan several people that I respect, really respect from the bottom of my heart. Professor Wan, oh, thank you. Professor Wan over there, and his predecessor, Huang, Andrew. They are very important for Taiwan, always. Not in the very visible scene, but they are pushing a lot of behavioral guidelines for the society. So when, several years ago, we are searching for someone to head for the team to look at the best person to be in charge of the medical examination for certificate, evaluation for the medical practice in Taiwan, in the hospital. They are the ones who will be chosen by the Ministry of Education. And so I'm privileged to be here, to be able to give a talk at this very important occasion. Well, I think what I would like to talk about today started with this statement that Asia, and many of you here are from different countries, in Taiwan and Singapore, probably. We have people from Thailand, Vietnam, and from America. And in any way, the economy over the last 20 years, we are seeing a lot of push for research in those countries. And when a developed country who look at the developing country, they will say, well, these countries are coming up with strong students, very good faculty, better trained in many places in Europe, in America. And now they went back to their own home country, try to build their countries to be compete. The first thing that you see is they are all in the university, in research centers, and they are doing great work, following their mentors in America, in Europe, and so on, and they are online to research. And you can see that these coming up, India, Singapore, South Korea, Taiwan, are seeking to elevate some of their university to this very exalted status because they recognize the important role university-based scientific research has played in driving economic growth in the United States, Europe, and Japan. And so we needed to catch up. And so you can see over the years, in Gulf states, there are money being put in. There are many universities being built. And my student was in one of the, been hired, recruited to be one of the faculty in this Arab university. And she has a lot of research endowment go with her appointment. And then we see university getting a lot of money in Singapore and in China. That's everybody know about China. It's striving so fast. And then in Taiwan also, we have so-called 5 years, every 5 years, we have a period of supporting high-level university, the excellence research centers, and so on. Now you see, if you look at these are the Philippines major university who's striving to be best. And then you can see Indonesia. And they have big collaboration with Taiwan through the Bank of Bank of the World and World Bank. They're getting money for the ministry of, and then they are now cooperate with Taiwan on some nursing education. And we see India. These are major universities who's really getting a lot of funding from their government to do research. Singapore. And then we have Malaysia. All over the place in this region. I just want to show you, this is Thailand. And we have Vietnam. They all come and we all get together to talk about research in the next decade and coming years. Hong Kong, the 3 major universities are pushing. We gather in Taiwan, we discuss research, and so on. I just want to show you that if you look at it, this is China, Japan, but if connected together, Taiwan, the Philippines, this is a huge oceanic area, almost as big as China and the continent, with the resource from underground, from under the water. Now we are in the new eras of research. We need a new concept, and a lot of work is going on. So a global partnership is based, the key to human evolution is we share. We like to share. We need to share. And for the Western economy, at one point, the model is to individualize, not sharing. In other words, win or lose. Winners take all. And we saw the collapse of the Wall Street. And people recognize sharing is more important than just talking about taking everything for the big company. Cooperation for future survival. We need to have cross-language, cross-discipline, cross-university and research institution, cross-culture, cross-countries and continent. Let's see, we have to solve the bigger problem than what we have today. Many of the problems are related. Pollution, for example. In Taiwan, we're crying out for a lot of pollution coming from Beijing, of course. And that's the problem. And that the problem has to be solved, not by Taiwan by itself. We have to have a global sharing the knowledge, sharing of the scholarship, and so on. And the research does make a difference. We need to do that. You look at that. In a world with research higher up, and a world with research under the level of desire, what happened? You can see economy is very different. The one you saw, all the blue and and dark area are the Western world who has money. And per capita, France, 44,000. Taiwan is about the same thing, although on record we are about 25. But everybody knows Taiwan has a lot of purchasing power, more than just 25,000. So, but look at here. This is the person who owns less than $1 a day, US dollars a day, in this country. They don't have science, they don't have education, they don't have a lot of support, transportation, medical care, and what happened? Life expectancy in those countries are terrible. If you look at it, we are sharing, almost all of us expect us to live forever, maybe 80 years old. That's a common standard. Now we are looking at this. But here, we are looking at the life expectancy, 39, 39, 42, 42, and most 50. If you look at it, the difference is 30 years or more. In other words, there are places with research, with science, that their people are benefit from those. They are 30 years more than to enjoy life than these people. We're not talking about number, we're talking about humanity. Why these people? Is there really a discrepancy, disparity of life? And we have to do something. Science has come in. Situation is that the society has become more complex, independent, technology-oriented. Medical care and prevention disease depend a great deal on general cognitive ability and literacy. So in order to be healthy and wealthy, it helps to be wise. Education is the most important thing. Now, we also have encountered this Flynn effect. Professor Flynn in New Zealand, when his sabbatical years, he discovered people are getting wiser, the intelligence score increase. In the industrial society, every 3 points a year. So, we saw a lot of collaboration that's coming up to solve the big problems, state of the world, science. You see, US cooperate in many countries, China, Hong Kong, Taiwan, for example. You know, these are the coming up emerging countries who are looking for better science, better life, better education. And you can see all these important patents, technology, and so on. For the threat, because of the high-tech knowledge, socioeconomic divide between the rich and the poor. The rich come so suddenly, and the divide widens quickly without gradual evolution. Capacity of science and technology to intervene adversely in various dimensions of human life, include its origin, ending, and its physical and physical and social environment. Powerful scientists are regarded as knowing everything. That's what happened. And that's had a good and a bad side on the society. And then political context require you more and more. In Taiwan nowadays, we saw the Ministry of Science and Technology require you to have every piece of your grant